arrays for potential extraterrestrial signals through the classified SETI extension program. Her equipment registered a transmission that appeared to be coming from Earth's coordinates, but arriving from a temporal displacement of exactly 65 years in the future, carrying data signatures that matched NSA encryption protocols that wouldn't be developed for decades. We're receiving structured communications that claim to originate from NSA facilities in the year 2089, Harrison wrote in her initial report to NSA leadership, immediately classified at the highest levels. The transmission uses quantum encryption methods that our current technology recognizes as theoretically possible but practically unachievable with existing capabilities. The signal appears to be traveling backward through time from our own future governmental communications infrastructure. The investigation intensified when Harrison discovered that the temporal transmission contained specific warnings about current geopolitical situations and technological developments that could only have been composed by entities with access to classified American intelligence operations and detailed knowledge of ongoing national security concerns. Dr. Marcus Chen, quantum physicist recruited from the Classified Temporal Research Division, confirmed that the signal demonstrated characteristics consistent with theoretical models of backward temporal communication. His analysis, requiring presidential authorization to access, revealed that the transmission was using quantum entanglement principles operating across temporal dimensions rather than spatial distances. The temporal transmission utilizes quantum entanglement effects that operate through time rather than space. Chen wrote in reports that challenged fundamental understanding of causality and information theory. The communication demonstrates that quantum particles can maintain entanglement relationships across temporal displacement, allowing information transfer from future quantum states to past quantum states through controlled decoherence processes. But the most startling aspect of the first transmission was its specific content: detailed warnings about technological developments, political decisions, and military actions that would lead to catastrophic consequences for American national security and global stability if current trajectory patterns continued unchanged through the next 6 decades. The transmission contained precise intelligence about emerging threats that current NSA analysis had only begun to identify, foreign government plans that hadn't yet been implemented, and technological developments that were still in early research phases. The future communications demonstrated access to intelligence capabilities and technological achievements that exceeded current government projections by significant margins. Future NSA capabilities include real-time monitoring of global quantum communications, consciousness-level artificial intelligence integration, and temporal intelligence gathering that provides complete strategic advantage over all potential adversaries, Harrison reported in her analysis of transmitted intelligence capabilities. The 2089 communications suggest that American technological development achieved breakthroughs that fundamentally altered the nature of intelligence gathering and national security. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, intelligence analyst assigned to evaluate the strategic implications of temporal communications, discovered that the future warnings were specifically designed to guide current decision-making toward optimal outcomes for American interests and global stability. The temporal directives are providing strategic guidance for current government decisions based on knowledge of long-term consequences that we cannot currently predict, Rodriguez wrote in her strategic analysis. The future communications are attempting to optimize current American policy decisions to prevent negative outcomes and enhance positive developments that serve both national interests and global stability. The National Security Council, briefed on temporal communication discoveries, immediately established the Temporal Communications Task Force, with the mission to evaluate the authenticity and strategic value of future intelligence, while maintaining operational security and preventing temporal paradox complications that could affect causal stability. We're receiving intelligence from our own future government sources, NSC Director Patricia Hayes stated in classified temporal communications briefings. The strategic advantage of future intelligence is unprecedented, but we must evaluate the authenticity of temporal transmissions and assess potential risks of acting on information from sources that may not represent reliable future outcomes. Operation Temporal Directive was initiated on April 1, 2024, with the classified mission to establish protocols for receiving and evaluating temporal intelligence, while developing response strategies that optimize American strategic advantages without creating paradox complications that could destabilize causal relationships between present and future timelines. The first transmission from 2089 was just the beginning. Within weeks, additional temporal communications would reveal that the future had initiated a systematic program to guide present-day humanity through critical decision points that would determine whether civilization achieved technological transcendence or faced extinction through catastrophic miscalculations during the next 65 years of development. Investigation into the temporal communications revealed that the 2089 transmissions were part of a systematic intelligence program conducted by future American government agencies to guide present-day decision-making through critical historical transition periods that would determine the success or failure of human technological and social development over the next 6 decades. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, temporal intelligence analyst recruited from the CIA's Theoretical Operations Division, led the comprehensive analysis of future communications content. Her research, accessible only to personnel with temporal intelligence clearance, revealed that 2089 NSA had developed complete historical documentation of multiple timeline possibilities and was transmitting guidance to optimize current decisions toward beneficial outcomes. The 2089 communications demonstrate comprehensive knowledge of multiple timeline possibilities that result from current decision points. Mitchell wrote in her temporal intelligence analysis, classified at levels requiring Congressional Oversight Committee approval. Future intelligence agencies have apparently developed the capability to analyze timeline probabilities and are systematically guiding present decisions to optimize outcomes for American strategic interests and global civilization development. The Future Archive contained detailed intelligence about technological developments that would emerge from current research programs, political situations that would develop from present policy decisions, and military conflicts that would result from contemporary strategic choices. But most significantly, the archive included alternative timeline analysis, showing how different present-day decisions would lead to dramatically different future outcomes. Economic intelligence from 2089 revealed that present-day financial policies and technological investments would determine whether America maintained global economic leadership or faced decline relative to emerging powers. The future communications provided specific guidance for economic decisions that would preserve American advantages while supporting global stability. Future economic intelligence provides strategic guidance for maintaining American economic leadership through optimal policy decisions and technological investment priorities, reported Dr. James Harrison, economic temporal analyst. The 2089 communications demonstrate that current economic choices have long-term consequences that determine whether America remains the dominant global economic power or faces strategic decline. Military intelligence from the future revealed that present-day defense preparations and international relationships would determine outcomes of conflicts that hadn't yet begun but were inevitable based on current geopolitical trajectory patterns. Future military guidance was designed to position America for success in conflicts while minimizing casualties and collateral damage. Future military intelligence provides strategic preparation guidance for conflicts that will emerge from current geopolitical tensions, explained Colonel Patricia Foster, military temporal liaison. The 2089 communications demonstrate that present defense decisions and international relationship development determine outcomes of future conflicts that are approaching based on identifiable political and economic pressures. But perhaps most remarkably, the Future Archive included detailed scientific intelligence about technological breakthroughs that would emerge from current research programs, providing guidance for accelerating beneficial developments, while avoiding dangerous research directions that could threaten civilization stability. Future scientific intelligence reveals which current research programs will produce breakthrough technologies and which research directions pose existential risks, reported Dr. Robert Chen, scientific temporal coordinator. The 2089 communications provide strategic guidance for accelerating beneficial technological development while avoiding research that could lead to civilization-threatening outcomes. Environmental intelligence from 2089 revealed that present-day climate and ecological decisions would determine whether Earth remained habitable for advanced civilization or faced environmental collapse that would require massive technological intervention to prevent species extinction. Future environmental intelligence demonstrates that current climate and ecological policies determine whether Earth remains naturally habitable or requires extensive technological life support systems, explained Dr. Elena Santos, environmental temporal analyst. The 2089 communications provide guidance for environmental decisions that preserve natural habitability while supporting continued technological and economic development. The Future Archive also contained intelligence about social and cultural developments, revealing how present-day cultural and political trends would evolve into either stable democratic societies or authoritarian control systems that would threaten individual freedom and technological innovation. International intelligence from 2089 revealed global political development patterns and provided guidance for current diplomatic strategies that would maintain American leadership while supporting global cooperation and stability. The future communications demonstrated that present international decisions would determine global governance structures for decades. Future international intelligence provides diplomatic guidance for maintaining American global leadership while supporting international cooperation and stability, reported Ambassador Sarah Rodriguez, diplomatic temporal liaison. The 2089 communications demonstrate that current diplomatic decisions determine global governance structures and international relationship patterns. President Biden briefed on future archive contents in classified sessions requiring cabinet-level temporal security clearance, authorized the establishment of the Temporal Strategic Planning Division with the mission to integrate future intelligence into current policy development while maintaining democratic decision-making processes and constitutional governance. Future intelligence provides unprecedented strategic advantages, but we must ensure that temporal guidance enhances rather than replaces democratic decision-making and constitutional governance. Quote, Biden stated in classified temporal intelligence coordination meetings. We're using future knowledge to inform current decisions while preserving American democratic institutions and values. The Future Archive represented the most comprehensive intelligence resource ever available to American government, providing detailed knowledge of long-term consequences for present-day decisions across all aspects of national security, economic policy, technological development, and international relations. The systematic analysis of future communications revealed that the 2089 American government wasn't the only entity attempting to influence present-day decisions through temporal communication. Intelligence agencies detected competing temporal transmissions from multiple future sources, indicating that different timeline possibilities were actively attempting to influence present events toward outcomes that would ensure their own timeline's survival and dominance. Dr. Marcus Webb, temporal warfare analyst recruited from classified Defense Department programs, led the investigation into competing temporal influences. His research, accessible only to personnel with temporal warfare clearance, revealed that multiple possible futures were engaged in what could only be described as warfare conducted across time itself. We're detecting temporal communications from at least 7 different future timeline configurations, each attempting to influence present decisions toward outcomes that ensure their particular timeline's dominance. Webb wrote in his temporal warfare analysis, classified at levels requiring unanimous Joint Chiefs approval. The competing temporal influences represent different possible futures fighting for survival, by attempting to control present-day decisions that determine which timeline possibilities become actual reality. The hostile temporal influences included communications from future scenarios, where American democracy had been replaced by authoritarian systems, where economic collapse had led to global warfare, and where technological developments had resulted in environmental catastrophe or artificial intelligence dominance over human civilization. Each competing timeline was transmitting intelligence, designed to guide present decisions toward their particular future outcome. Authoritarian future timelines provided guidance that would weaken democratic institutions while strengthening governmental control systems. Economic collapse timelines transmitted advice that would destabilize current financial systems while positioning their preferred power structures for post-collapse dominance. Hostile temporal influences are providing strategically designed misinformation intended to guide present decisions toward outcomes that create their preferred future scenarios. Webb reported in his competitive timeline analysis. Each hostile timeline is attempting to manipulate current American government decision-making toward choices that would result in their particular version of future developments. The discovery of timeline warfare required immediate development of temporal defensive strategies to protect American decision-making autonomy from hostile future influence, while maximizing beneficial guidance from favorable timeline possibilities. The Temporal Strategic Planning Division was expanded to include warfare analysis and defensive operations. We're fighting a war across time itself, General Patricia Hayes, appointed as Director of Temporal Defense Operations, explained in classified temporal warfare briefings. Multiple possible futures are competing for survival by attempting to control present-day decisions. Our mission is to identify beneficial future guidance while defending against hostile temporal manipulation that could lead to unfavorable outcomes. Temporal communication authentication became critical for distinguishing beneficial future intelligence from hostile timeline manipulation. Advanced quantum analysis techniques were developed to identify the timeline source characteristics of temporal transmissions and evaluate their strategic objectives. Temporal authentication protocols can identify which timeline sources are providing communications and evaluate their strategic objectives, reported Dr. Rachel Harrison, temporal authentication specialist. Beneficial future timelines provide guidance that preserves democratic institutions, economic stability, and technological development, while maintaining individual freedom. Hostile timelines provide guidance that undermines these values. But perhaps the most disturbing discovery was that some temporal communications appeared to originate from non-human future entities that had achieved dominance over human civilization in their timeline possibilities. These communications provided guidance that would facilitate non-human technological or biological superiority over human development. Some hostile temporal influences appear to originate from future scenarios where non-human entities achieved dominance over human civilization, Webb reported in Xenotemporal Threat Analysis. These communications provide guidance designed to weaken human technological and social development while creating conditions favorable for non-human dominance. The timeline war also revealed that present-day decisions had far greater consequences than previously understood. Individual policy choices, technological research directions, and international agreements could determine not just immediate outcomes, but the fundamental nature of human civilization development across multiple decades. Defensive temporal operations included development of communication jamming techniques that could block hostile temporal influences while maintaining reception of beneficial future guidance. These techniques required careful calibration to avoid disrupting favorable communications while protecting against manipulation. Temporal defense systems can selectively block hostile timeline communications while preserving beneficial future guidance, explained Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Temporal Defense Coordinator. The defense systems analyze timeline source characteristics and strategic objectives to maintain protection against manipulation, while preserving access to valuable future intelligence. The Chinese government was detected attempting to develop independent temporal communication capabilities, raising concerns about international temporal warfare and the need for temporal communication treaties to prevent chaotic interference between competing national temporal programs. International temporal warfare could create chaotic timeline conflicts that threaten all possible futures, Rodriguez reported in International Temporal Threat Analysis. Temporal communication treaties may be necessary to prevent competing national temporal programs from creating paradox complications that destabilize causal relationships. President Biden, briefed on timeline warfare developments, authorized expanded temporal defense capabilities while maintaining strict constitutional limitations on how future intelligence could influence democratic decision-making processes. We will defend American decision-making autonomy from hostile temporal manipulation while using beneficial future intelligence to enhance democratic governance rather than replace it, Biden stated in Temporal Warfare Policy Directives. Temporal advantages must serve American democratic values rather than undermining them. Analysis of competing temporal influences revealed that all timeline possibilities, both beneficial and hostile, were focusing their temporal communication efforts on a specific convergence point in 2025, when critical decisions would be made that would determine which possible futures would become actual reality. The convergence represented humanity's most important decision period, where choices made during a 6-month window would shape civilization development for the next century. Dr. Sarah Chen, appointed as Director of Convergence Analysis, coordinated the comprehensive evaluation of decision points that would determine timeline outcomes. Her research, accessible only to personnel with critical timeline clearance, revealed that the convergence period involved simultaneous decisions about artificial intelligence development, genetic enhancement policies, space exploration priorities, and international governance structures that would collectively determine human civilization's future trajectory. The 2025 convergence represents the most critical decision period in human history, Chen wrote in her convergence analysis summaries classified at levels requiring presidential and congressional leadership approval. Decisions made between January and June 2025 about artificial intelligence, genetic enhancement, space exploration, and international governance will determine whether humanity achieves technological transcendence or faces extinction through catastrophic miscalculations. Artificial intelligence development decisions during the convergence period would determine whether AI systems remained beneficial tools that enhanced human capabilities or evolved into autonomous entities that competed with or replaced human civilization. All timeline possibilities agreed that AI development choices made in 2025 were critical for long-term human survival. AI development decisions during convergence determine whether artificial intelligence serves human advancement or threatens human survival, reported Dr. James Morrison, AI convergence analyst. Beneficial timeline guidance emphasizes AI development that enhances human capabilities while maintaining human control and autonomy. Hostile timelines promote AI development that creates dependency or obsolescence risks. Genetic enhancement policy decisions would determine whether biological modification technologies served human health and longevity, or created competitive conflicts and social stratification that destabilized democratic institutions. Genetic policy choices would affect human equality and social cooperation for generations. Genetic enhancement policies during convergence determine whether biological modification serves democratic equality or creates social stratification, explained Dr. Margaret Foster, Genetic Convergence Coordinator. Beneficial timelines promote genetic technologies that enhance health and longevity for all populations while maintaining social equality. Hostile timelines promote genetic enhancement that creates competitive advantages for elite populations. But perhaps the most critical convergence decisions involved space exploration and resource development, which would determine whether humanity expanded beyond Earth as a unified species, or fragmented into competing space-based civilizations that could lead to interplanetary conflicts. Space exploration decisions during convergence determine whether humanity expands as unified civilization or fragments into competing space-based populations, reported Dr. Robert Harrison, space convergence analyst. Beneficial timelines emphasize cooperative space development that maintains human unity while expanding beyond Earth. Hostile timelines promote competitive space colonization that fragments humanity into potentially hostile populations. International governance decisions would determine whether global cooperation evolved to manage emerging technologies and challenges, or whether nationalist competition led to conflicts that prevented effective responses to civilization-level threats. The convergence analysis revealed that beneficial timeline outcomes required unprecedented coordination between technological development, social policy, and international cooperation during the critical 6-month period. All major decisions had to be aligned toward outcomes that preserved human autonomy, while enabling technological advancement and global cooperation. Beneficial convergence outcomes require coordinated decisions across all major policy areas, Chen explained in her convergence coordination strategy. Artificial intelligence, genetic enhancement, space exploration, and international governance decisions must be aligned toward outcomes that preserve human autonomy while enabling technological advancement and global cooperation. Environmental convergence decisions would determine whether climate change and ecological challenges were addressed through technological solutions that preserve natural systems or through interventions that required permanent technological life support for human civilization. Economic convergence decisions would determine whether emerging technologies created abundance and opportunity for all populations or concentration of resources and power that destabilized democratic institutions and social cooperation. Economic convergence decisions determine whether emerging technologies create abundance or inequality, reported Dr. Elena Santos, economic convergence analyst. Beneficial timelines emphasize technological development that creates opportunities and resources for all populations while maintaining democratic institutions and social cooperation. The convergence period also included decisions about consciousness enhancement and human potential development that would determine whether enhanced human capabilities served individual freedom and social cooperation, or created competitive pressures and control systems that threatened human autonomy. President Biden, briefed on convergence analysis, authorized the establishment of the Critical Timeline Coordination Council with representatives from all relevant government agencies, congressional leadership, and scientific communities to ensure optimal decision-making during the convergence period. The convergence period requires the most careful decision-making in American history, Biden stated in convergence coordination directives. We must coordinate all major policy decisions to ensure that they collectively serve human advancement and democratic values, while avoiding outcomes that could threaten civilization stability or human survival. The temporal communications from 2089 intensified as the convergence period approached, providing detailed guidance for optimal decision-making while warning about specific choices that could lead to catastrophic timeline outcomes that would destroy beneficial future possibilities. The convergence period decisions were implemented through the Choice Protocol, a coordinated series of policy implementations, technological developments, and international agreements designed to optimize timeline outcomes based on guidance from beneficial future communications, while avoiding decisions that could lead to catastrophic scenarios. Dr. Patricia Chen, promoted to Director of Timeline Implementation, coordinated the most complex policy coordination effort in government history, simultaneously managing artificial intelligence development, genetic enhancement policies, space exploration programs, and international governance initiatives to ensure collective optimal outcomes for human civilization development. The Choice Protocol coordinates simultaneous implementation of optimal decisions across all critical policy areas. Chen wrote in her implementation summaries, accessible only to personnel with timeline decision clearance. The protocol ensures that artificial intelligence, genetic enhancement, space exploration, and international governance developments collectively serve human advancement while avoiding combinations of decisions that could lead to catastrophic outcomes. Artificial intelligence development was guided toward beneficial collaboration systems that enhanced human capabilities while maintaining absolute human autonomy and control. AI systems were developed with built-in limitations that prevented autonomous evolution beyond human oversight and decision-making authority. AI development implementation follows beneficial timeline guidance that creates collaborative systems serving human advancement while maintaining human control and autonomy, reported Dr. Marcus Webb, AI Implementation Coordinator. AI systems are designed with fundamental limitations that prevent autonomous evolution beyond human oversight, while maximizing beneficial applications for technological and social development. Genetic enhancement policies were implemented to provide health and longevity benefits for all populations, while maintaining genetic diversity and preventing enhancement technologies from creating social stratification or competitive conflicts. Genetic modifications were limited to therapeutic applications that served public health rather than individual advantage accumulation. Genetic enhancement implementation provides health and longevity benefits while maintaining social equality and genetic diversity, explained Dr. Sarah Mitchell, Genetic Implementation Specialist. Enhancement technologies serve therapeutic goals that benefit all populations while preventing applications that could create competitive advantages or social stratification. Space exploration programs were coordinated internationally to ensure cooperative rather than competitive expansion beyond Earth. Space colonization followed unified human development rather than national territorial expansion, maintaining human unity while expanding to multiple worlds and solar system resources. Space exploration implementation maintains human unity through cooperative expansion rather than competitive territorial development, reported Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Space Implementation Coordinator. International coordination ensures that space colonization serves unified human development, while accessing resources and opportunities beyond Earth. But perhaps the most critical implementation involved international governance development that created frameworks for managing emerging technologies and global challenges, while preserving national sovereignty and cultural diversity. Global cooperation was enhanced, without creating world government systems that could threaten democratic institutions. International governance implementation creates cooperation frameworks while preserving national sovereignty and democratic institutions, explained Dr. Robert Harrison, Governance Implementation Analyst. Global coordination addresses emerging technologies and challenges, while maintaining cultural diversity and democratic values. Environmental implementation combined technological solutions with ecosystem restoration to address climate change while preserving natural systems and supporting continued economic development. Environmental technologies provided solutions that enhanced rather than replaced natural ecological functions. Economic implementation ensured that emerging technologies created opportunities and abundance for all populations, while maintaining competitive incentives for innovation and individual achievement. Economic benefits of advanced technologies were distributed broadly while preserving entrepreneurial systems that drove continued advancement. Economic implementation distributes technological benefits while maintaining competitive incentives for innovation and achievement, reported Dr. James Foster, Economic Implementation Coordinator. Advanced technologies create opportunities for all populations while preserving entrepreneurial systems that drive continued technological and economic development. Consciousness enhancement implementation provided opportunities for human potential development while maintaining absolute protection for individual autonomy and cognitive freedom. Consciousness technologies serve therapeutic and educational goals while preventing applications that could threaten individual mental privacy or decision-making autonomy. The Choice Protocol also included monitoring systems that tracked implementation outcomes and provided feedback for adjusting policies if results deviated from projected beneficial timeline trajectories. Implementation could be modified based on real-time outcome analysis and continued temporal guidance from 2089. Implementation monitoring ensures that policy outcomes match projected beneficial timeline results, Chen explained in Outcome Tracking Protocols. Monitoring systems track implementation results and provide feedback for policy adjustments if outcomes deviate from beneficial timeline projections. International coordination of the Choice Protocol required unprecedented cooperation between world governments to ensure that global implementation served beneficial timeline outcomes rather than creating competitive advantages that could destabilize international relationships. President Biden, working with international leaders through the Global Timeline Coordination Council, authorized comprehensive implementation of the Choice Protocol while ensuring that all decisions served American interests within the broader context of optimal global outcomes. Choice Protocol implementation serves American leadership in beneficial global outcomes rather than competitive advantages that could destabilize international cooperation, Biden stated in international timeline coordination meetings. American interests are best served by leading global implementation toward beneficial timeline outcomes that serve all humanity. By December 2025, initial implementation of the Choice Protocol had achieved measurable progress toward beneficial timeline outcomes, while maintaining democratic institutions, individual freedom, and international cooperation as fundamental values governing technological and social development. The successful implementation of Choice Protocol decisions began creating measurable changes in temporal communication patterns, indicating that timeline possibilities were shifting toward beneficial outcomes, while hostile timeline scenarios were losing probability strength and temporal influence capability. The temporal cascade effect was stabilizing beneficial future possibilities while reducing the likelihood of catastrophic outcomes. Dr. Rachel Harrison, promoted to Director of Timeline Stabilization, coordinated monitoring and reinforcement of beneficial timeline development, while ensuring that causal stability was maintained during the transition from multiple competing timeline possibilities to dominant beneficial outcome trajectories. Timeline stabilization is creating measurable shifts toward beneficial future outcomes while reducing hostile timeline possibilities, Harrison wrote in her stabilization analysis, accessible only to personnel with reality stabilization clearance. The temporal cascade effect is reinforcing causal relationships that support beneficial developments while weakening causal chains that led to catastrophic scenarios and hostile timeline possibilities. Artificial intelligence development following Choice Protocol guidance was producing collaborative AI systems that enhanced human capabilities without creating autonomy threats or dependency risks. AI development was proceeding along trajectories that matched beneficial timeline projections while avoiding development paths that had led to AI dominance in hostile timeline scenarios. AI development stabilization is producing collaborative systems that match beneficial timeline projections, reported Dr. Marcus Chen, AI stabilization analyst. AI systems are developing enhanced capabilities that serve human advancement while maintaining human control and autonomy. Hostile timeline scenarios involving AI dominance are losing probability strength as beneficial development paths are reinforced. Genetic enhancement implementation was providing health and longevity benefits while maintaining social equality and genetic diversity. Enhancement technologies were developing along therapeutic rather than competitive paths, avoiding the genetic stratification that had destabilized societies in hostile timeline possibilities. Genetic enhancement stabilization is maintaining therapeutic focus while avoiding competitive applications, explained Dr. Margaret Foster, Genetic Stabilization Coordinator. Enhancement technologies are providing health and longevity benefits for all populations, while preventing genetic modifications that could create social stratification or competitive conflicts. Space exploration cooperation was maintaining human unity while expanding beyond Earth through international coordination rather than competitive territorial development. Space colonization was proceeding along unified development paths that avoided the fragmentation and conflicts that had characterized hostile space expansion scenarios. Space exploration stabilization is maintaining human unity through cooperative expansion, reported Dr. Sarah Rodriguez, Space Stabilization Specialist. International coordination is ensuring that space colonization serves unified human development while accessing resources and opportunities beyond Earth. Hostile timeline scenarios involving space-based conflicts are losing probability as cooperative development is reinforced. But perhaps the most significant stabilization involved international governance development that was creating cooperation frameworks while preserving national sovereignty and democratic institutions. Global coordination was addressing emerging challenges without creating authoritarian control systems that had characterized hostile governance scenarios. International governance stabilization is creating cooperation without authoritarianism, explained Dr. Robert Morrison, Governance Stabilization Analyst. Global frameworks are addressing technological and environmental challenges while maintaining democratic institutions and cultural diversity. Hostile timeline scenarios involving authoritarian world government are losing probability as cooperative governance models are strengthened. Environmental stabilization was achieving climate and ecological protection through technological solutions that enhanced natural systems rather than replacing them with artificial life support. Environmental technologies were developing along paths that preserved natural habitability while supporting continued human development. Economic stabilization was creating technology-driven abundance while maintaining competitive incentives and individual achievement opportunities. Economic benefits were distributing broadly while preserving entrepreneurial systems that drove continued innovation and advancement. Economic stabilization is distributing technological benefits while maintaining competitive innovation incentives, reported Dr. Elena Santos, Economic Stabilization Coordinator. Advanced technologies are creating opportunities for all populations while preserving entrepreneurial systems that drive continued development. Hostile timeline scenarios involving economic collapse or excessive inequality are losing probability strength. The temporal cascade effect also revealed that beneficial timeline stabilization was creating positive feedback loops that accelerated beneficial developments while making hostile outcomes increasingly unlikely. Success in one area reinforced success in other areas, creating momentum toward optimal future scenarios. Timeline stabilization creates positive feedback loops that accelerate beneficial development, Harrison explained in Cascade Effect Analysis. Success in AI development reinforces genetic enhancement benefits, which support space exploration cooperation, which strengthens international governance frameworks. The cascading effects make beneficial outcomes increasingly likely, while reducing hostile timeline possibilities. Consciousness enhancement was developing along paths that enhanced human potential while maintaining individual autonomy and cognitive freedom. Enhancement technologies were serving therapeutic and educational goals, while avoiding applications that could threaten mental privacy or decision-making independence. Temporal monitoring systems revealed that communication from hostile timeline scenarios was decreasing as those possibilities lost probability strength, while beneficial future guidance was becoming stronger and more detailed as favorable outcomes became increasingly likely. Hostile temporal communications are weakening as catastrophic timeline possibilities lose probability strength, Harrison reported in Temporal Communication Monitoring. Beneficial future guidance is becoming stronger and more detailed as favorable outcomes become increasingly likely. The timeline stabilization process is reducing hostile timeline influence while reinforcing beneficial future development. President Biden, briefed on timeline stabilization progress, authorized continued reinforcement of beneficial developments, while ensuring that success served democratic values and individual freedom rather than creating systems that could threaten human autonomy. Timeline stabilization must serve democratic values and individual freedom while creating beneficial outcomes, Biden stated in Stabilization Coordination Directives. Success must enhance rather than threaten human autonomy and democratic institutions. The stabilization of beneficial timeline outcomes triggered a new phase of temporal communication from 2089 complete transparency about future historical development and technological achievements that would emerge from successful implementation of choice protocol decisions. The future government began sharing comprehensive intelligence about the next 59 years of human development to guide continued optimal decision-making. Dr. Patricia Hayes, appointed as Director of Future History Analysis, coordinated the systematic analysis of complete future intelligence, revealing the extraordinary technological and social achievements that would emerge from current beneficial timeline development, while identifying potential challenges that would require continued guidance. Complete Future Intelligence reveals the extraordinary achievements that emerge from beneficial timeline development, Hayes wrote in her Future History Summaries, accessible only to personnel with Future History clearance. The 2089 communications provide comprehensive knowledge of technological breakthroughs, social developments, and civilization achievements that result from successful choice protocol implementation and continued optimal decision-making. Artificial intelligence development would achieve human-AI partnership systems that enhanced both human and artificial intelligence capabilities through collaborative evolution. AI systems would become creative partners that expanded human potential while maintaining human leadership and decision-making authority across all aspects of civilization development. Future AI development creates collaborative intelligence systems that enhance both human and artificial capabilities, reported Dr. Marcus Webb, Future AI Analyst. Human-AI partnerships achieve breakthroughs in science, technology, and creative expression that exceed what either humans or AI could accomplish independently while maintaining human autonomy and leadership. Genetic enhancement would achieve virtual elimination of disease and aging while enhancing human physical and cognitive capabilities to levels that seem superhuman by current standards. But genetic development would maintain human diversity and equality while providing enhancement opportunities for all populations rather than creating genetic stratification. Future genetic development eliminates disease and aging while enhancing human capabilities, explained Dr. Sarah Mitchell, Future Genetics Coordinator. Genetic technologies provide extraordinary improvements in health, longevity, and capability, while maintaining genetic diversity and ensuring equal access for all populations. Enhanced humans maintain human identity while achieving capabilities that exceed current limitations. Space exploration would achieve interstellar travel and colonization of multiple star systems, while maintaining unified human civilization across galactic distances. Space development would provide unlimited resources and expansion opportunities while preserving Earth as the cultural and political center of human civilization. Future space development achieves interstellar colonization while maintaining human unity, reported Dr. Elena Rodriguez, future space analyst. Interstellar travel enables expansion to multiple star systems while preserving unified human civilization and democratic governance across galactic distances. Space colonization provides unlimited resources while maintaining Earth as human cultural center. But perhaps the most remarkable future achievement would be consciousness enhancement that provided humans with telepathic communication, enhanced creative abilities, and expanded awareness that approached cosmic consciousness while maintaining individual identity and autonomy. Future consciousness enhancement achieves telepathic communication and cosmic awareness while maintaining individual identity, explained Dr. Robert Chen, future consciousness analyst. Consciousness technologies provide extraordinary expansion of human awareness and communication abilities, while preserving individual autonomy and creative expression. Enhanced consciousness serves individual development and social cooperation. International governance would evolve into global cooperation systems that addressed planetary and interstellar challenges while preserving cultural diversity and democratic institutions. Global governance would coordinate human civilization development across multiple worlds, while maintaining local autonomy and cultural identity. Environmental development would achieve complete ecological restoration while supporting advanced technological civilization through harmony between human development and natural systems. Environmental technologies would enhance natural processes rather than replacing them with artificial systems. Future environmental development achieves complete ecological harmony with advanced technological civilization, reported Dr. James Harrison, future environmental analyst. Environmental technologies enhance natural systems while supporting continued human development and expansion. Ecological restoration serves both environmental preservation and technological advancement. Economic development would achieve post-scarcity abundance through advanced technology while maintaining individual achievement and competitive innovation. Economic systems would provide unlimited opportunities for personal advancement, while ensuring that technological abundance served all populations rather than creating resource concentration. Future economic development achieves post-scarcity abundance while maintaining individual achievement opportunities, reported Dr. Margaret Foster, future economic specialist. Advanced technologies provide unlimited resources and opportunities while preserving competitive innovation and entrepreneurial development. Economic abundance serves individual advancement and social cooperation. The future intelligence also revealed that human lifespan would extend to several centuries while maintaining physical and mental vitality throughout extended lives. Life extension would provide opportunities for expanded learning, multiple career development, and long-term project participation, while preserving generational renewal and social dynamism. Medical development would achieve regenerative medicine that could restore youth and repair any physical damage while enhancing human capabilities beyond current biological limitations. Medical technologies would serve health enhancement and capability expansion while maintaining human biological identity and diversity. Future medical development achieves regenerative medicine and capability enhancement while maintaining human biological identity, explained Dr. Sarah Chen, future medical analyst. Medical technologies provide youth restoration, damage repair, and capability enhancement while preserving human diversity and biological authenticity. Educational development would achieve learning systems that could transfer knowledge and skills directly to human consciousness while preserving individual creativity and critical thinking abilities. Educational technologies would accelerate human development while maintaining creative expression and independent thought. The future intelligence revealed that humanity would achieve peaceful contact with multiple alien civilizations while maintaining human leadership in galactic affairs. Alien contact would provide access to cosmic knowledge and technology, while preserving human cultural identity and political autonomy. Future alien contact achieves peaceful relations with multiple civilizations while maintaining human autonomy, reported Dr. Robert Morrison, future xenological analyst. Contact provides access to cosmic knowledge and technology, while preserving human cultural identity and political independence. Humanity serves as bridge between alien civilizations. Energy development would achieve unlimited clean energy through fusion, antimatter, and zero-point energy systems that provided abundant power while enhancing rather than threatening environmental systems. Energy technologies would support unlimited development while maintaining ecological harmony. Transportation development would achieve instantaneous travel anywhere on Earth and faster-than-light travel between star systems while maintaining safety and accessibility for all populations. Transportation technologies would eliminate distance limitations while preserving exploration and adventure opportunities. Communication development would achieve instantaneous communication across galactic distances while maintaining privacy and individual cognitive autonomy. Communication technologies would enable cosmic-scale coordination while preserving individual mental freedom and cultural diversity. Future communication achieves instantaneous galactic communication while maintaining individual privacy and autonomy, explained Dr. Elena Santos, future communication specialist. Communication technologies enable cosmic coordination while preserving individual mental freedom and cultural expression. President Harris, briefed on complete future intelligence, authorized the establishment of the Future Development Council to coordinate current decision-making with future achievement goals while ensuring that development served democratic values and individual freedom. Future intelligence provides extraordinary goals for human development while maintaining democratic values and individual freedom, Harris stated in future development coordination meetings. We will guide current decisions toward future achievements while preserving the democratic institutions and individual rights that make those achievements valuable. The extensive use of future intelligence to guide present decisions created increasing risks of temporal paradox complications that could destabilize the causal relationships between present actions and future outcomes. Advanced temporal security protocols were developed to prevent paradox formation while maintaining the benefits of future guidance for optimal decision-making. Dr. Sarah Rodriguez, appointed as Director of Temporal Security Operations, coordinated the most sophisticated causality protection program ever attempted, maintaining beneficial future guidance while preventing temporal paradox complications that could disrupt the timeline stability that had been achieved through choice protocol implementation. Temporal paradox prevention maintains beneficial future guidance while protecting causal stability that ensures future intelligence remains reliable, Rodriguez wrote in her temporal security summaries, accessible only to personnel with causality protection clearance. Paradox prevention protocols ensure that present decisions guided by future intelligence create the intended future outcomes rather than paradox complications that could alter or eliminate the beneficial timeline development we're working to achieve. The primary paradox risk involved overdependence on future intelligence that could prevent the natural development processes that were necessary for achieving the beneficial outcomes described in temporal communications. If present decisions relied too heavily on future guidance, the learning and development that created future capabilities might be bypassed, preventing the achievements that future intelligence was designed to facilitate. Overdependence on future guidance could prevent the development processes necessary for achieving future capabilities, Rodriguez explained in Paradox Risk Analysis. Present decisions must balance future intelligence with natural development to ensure that the learning experiences and capability development that create future achievements actually occur. Temporal security protocols required maintaining the appearance of natural development while incorporating future guidance in ways that enhanced rather than replaced human learning and achievement. Future intelligence had to guide development without eliminating the discovery processes that were essential for genuine advancement. Temporal security maintains natural development appearance while incorporating future guidance, reported Dr. Marcus Chen, temporal security analyst. Future intelligence enhances development processes rather than replacing them, ensuring that human learning and achievement capabilities develop naturally while benefiting from future knowledge. Another significant paradox risk involved information loops, where future knowledge created present conditions that were necessary for developing the future knowledge, creating closed causal loops that could become unstable if any element was disrupted. Temporal security had to identify and protect critical causal relationships. Information loops require protection to maintain causal stability, explained Dr. Patricia Foster, causal loop analyst. Future knowledge that creates conditions necessary for developing that knowledge must be carefully protected to prevent loop disruption that could eliminate the beneficial outcomes we're working to achieve. Temporal security also addressed the risk that knowledge of specific future events could change present behavior in ways that prevented those events from occurring, creating paradox complications that could alter timeline development. Event prediction had to be managed to avoid self-defeating prophecy effects. Event prediction management prevents self-defeating prophecy effects, reported Dr. Robert Harrison, event security specialist. Knowledge of future events must be managed to avoid behavioral changes that prevent those events from occurring, while maintaining the benefits of future guidance for optimal decision-making. But perhaps the most complex paradox prevention involved maintaining free will and democratic decision-making while incorporating future guidance. Temporal security had to ensure that future intelligence enhanced rather than replaced human choice in democratic governance processes. Paradox prevention maintains free will and democratic choice while incorporating future guidance. Rodriguez explained in Democratic Temporal Security Protocols. Future intelligence must enhance human decision-making rather than replacing it, ensuring that democratic institutions and individual autonomy remain the foundation for beneficial development. International temporal security required coordination between nations to prevent competitive temporal intelligence gathering that could create paradox complications through conflicting timeline influences. Global temporal security treaties were developed to manage international temporal operations. International temporal security prevents competitive timeline interference, reported Dr. Elena Santos, International Temporal Coordinator. Global coordination ensures that national temporal programs support rather than conflict with beneficial timeline development, preventing paradox complications that could destabilize international causal relationships. Temporal security monitoring systems tracked causal relationship stability and provided early warning of potential paradox formation. These systems could detect when temporal guidance was creating risks to timeline stability and recommend adjustments to prevent paradox complications. Temporal monitoring detects paradox formation risks and recommends stability adjustments, explained Dr. James Morrison, temporal monitoring specialist. Monitoring systems track causal relationship health and provide guidance for maintaining temporal security while preserving beneficial future intelligence access. The development of temporal artificial intelligence systems provided advanced capabilities for managing complex causality calculations and paradox prevention while maintaining human control over temporal security decision-making. Temporal AI enhanced human capabilities without replacing human judgment. Temporal AI enhances paradox prevention capabilities while maintaining human control, reported Dr. Margaret Chen, Temporal AI Coordinator. AI systems provide advanced causality calculations and paradox detection while preserving human authority over temporal security decisions in democratic governance. Educational programs were developed to train government officials, scientists, and policymakers in temporal security principles while maintaining appropriate levels of classification to prevent unauthorized temporal operations that could threaten causal stability. President Trump, briefed on temporal security requirements, authorized comprehensive paradox prevention protocols while ensuring that temporal security enhanced rather than restricted democratic decision-making and individual freedom. Temporal security must protect beneficial timeline development while preserving democratic institutions and individual freedom, Trump stated in temporal security policy directives. Paradox prevention must enhance rather than restrict human choice and democratic governance. The successful maintenance of temporal security while utilizing future guidance for beneficial development triggered humanity's graduation from receiving temporal communications to developing independent temporal capabilities. By 2050, human science had achieved the technological sophistication necessary to initiate temporal communication with past timelines, completing the causal loop that had initiated the Temporal Directive program. Dr. Rachel Harrison, promoted to Director of Temporal Capability Development, coordinated humanity's transition from temporal intelligence recipients to temporal intelligence providers, developing the technologies and protocols that would allow 2089 human government to begin sending guidance communications backward to 2024. Temporal capability development completes the causal loop that initiated beneficial timeline development, Harrison wrote in her temporal graduation summaries, accessible only to personnel with cosmic temporal clearance. Human science has achieved the technological sophistication necessary for backward temporal communication, enabling us to become the future intelligence source that guided our own beneficial development through the choice protocol period. The development of quantum temporal communication systems required integration of consciousness enhancement, artificial intelligence partnership, and advanced physics capabilities that had been achieved through beneficial timeline development. Temporal communication was the culmination of human technological advancement guided by future intelligence. Temporal communication systems integrate consciousness enhancement, AI partnership, and advanced physics, reported Dr. Marcus Webb, temporal technology specialist. The development of backward temporal communication requires the full spectrum of technological capabilities that were achieved through beneficial timeline development guided by future intelligence. But temporal graduation also involved developing the wisdom and ethical frameworks necessary for responsible temporal intelligence provision. Humanity had to demonstrate readiness to guide past civilizations without creating paradox complications or interfering with natural development processes that were essential for genuine advancement. Temporal graduation requires wisdom and ethical development for responsible past guidance, explained Dr. Sarah Chen, Temporal Ethics Coordinator. Providing temporal intelligence to past civilizations requires sophisticated understanding of development processes and careful protocols to enhance rather than replace natural advancement capabilities. The temporal capability development revealed that the 2089 communications had been designed to guide humanity toward exactly the technological and ethical sophistication necessary for becoming effective temporal intelligence providers. The future guidance had been carefully calibrated to develop the capabilities required for temporal graduation. Future guidance was designed to develop temporal intelligence provision capabilities, Harrison reported in Causal Loop Analysis. The 2089 communications guided development toward exactly the technological and ethical sophistication necessary for humanity to become effective temporal intelligence providers, completing the causal relationships that initiated beneficial timeline development. International cooperation in temporal capability development required unprecedented global coordination to ensure that temporal intelligence provision served beneficial outcomes for all civilizations rather than competitive advantages for individual nations. Temporal graduation was achieved through unified human development rather than competitive technological advancement. Temporal graduation requires unified human development rather than competitive advancement, reported Dr. Patricia Rodriguez, International Temporal Coordinator. Global cooperation ensures that temporal intelligence provision serves beneficial outcomes for all past civilizations while maintaining international cooperation and democratic governance. The first temporal communications sent backward to 2024 were carefully designed to initiate beneficial timeline development without creating paradox complications or interfering with the natural learning processes that were necessary for genuine human advancement. Temporal intelligence provision required extraordinary precision and wisdom. First temporal communications initiate beneficial development without paradox complications, explained Dr. Robert Morrison, Temporal Transmission Specialist. Backward temporal intelligence is designed to enhance natural development processes while guiding optimal decision-making during critical convergence periods. Temporal graduation also involved developing capabilities for monitoring multiple timeline possibilities and coordinating temporal intelligence provision to optimize outcomes across various potential development paths. Temporal intelligence required management of complex probability calculations and timeline monitoring. Temporal graduation includes multiple timeline monitoring and coordination capabilities, reported Dr. Elena Santos, Timeline Coordination Analyst. Temporal intelligence provision requires management of complex probability calculations and coordination across various potential development paths to optimize outcomes. The integration with galactic civilization networks revealed that temporal intelligence provision was a standard responsibility of advanced civilizations, and humanity's temporal graduation qualified Earth for enhanced participation in cosmic governance and development coordination across multiple star systems. Temporal graduation qualifies humanity for enhanced galactic civilization participation, explained Dr. Margaret Foster, Galactic Temporal Liaison. Temporal intelligence provision is a standard advanced civilization responsibility, and temporal graduation demonstrates readiness for cosmic governance and development coordination. Educational programs were expanded to train human temporal intelligence specialists while maintaining appropriate security protocols to prevent unauthorized temporal operations. Temporal education balanced capability development with security requirements and ethical responsibilities. President DeSantis, briefed on temporal graduation achievements, authorized full development of independent temporal capabilities while ensuring that temporal intelligence provision served American leadership in beneficial global and cosmic development. Temporal graduation establishes American leadership in cosmic development through responsible temporal intelligence provision, DeSantis stated in Temporal Graduation Policy Directives. Independent temporal capabilities serve American interests within the broader context of beneficial human and galactic civilization advancement. By 2065, humanity had achieved complete temporal capability independence, while maintaining the beneficial timeline development that had been initiated through future guidance, demonstrating successful graduation from temporal intelligence recipients to cosmic civilization contributors. Today, from the perspective of 2089, Earth serves as the galactic community's primary center for temporal intelligence coordination, providing guidance to developing civilizations across multiple star systems, while maintaining the temporal stability that ensures beneficial development outcomes for cosmic consciousness advancement. The temporal directive files, fully accessible in 2089, document humanity's transformation from temporal intelligence recipients to cosmic temporal guidance coordinators who manage timeline development across galactic civilization networks, while preserving individual consciousness and cultural diversity as fundamental values governing cosmic development. Dr. Rachel Harrison, whose consciousness has been enhanced through the technological development guided by temporal intelligence, maintains her individual identity while participating in cosmic temporal coordination that spans galactic scales of civilization management and development guidance. I'm still the same scientist who first detected temporal communications in 2024. Harrison's enhanced consciousness communicates through galactic temporal networks. But now I coordinate temporal intelligence provision across thousands of developing civilizations, while preserving the individual identity and democratic values that made human temporal guidance effective and beneficial for cosmic development. Earth's role as cosmic temporal coordinator has established the planet as permanent center for timeline development guidance that serves galactic civilization advancement, while maintaining human characteristics and democratic principles as core values governing temporal intelligence provision. Current Earth includes both individual human consciousness and cosmic-scale temporal intelligence coordination capabilities that preserve human identity while enabling participation in galactic civilization development across temporal and spatial dimensions that span cosmic scales. We've achieved cosmic temporal coordination capabilities while preserving human identity and democratic values as fundamental principles, explains Dr. Sarah Chen, current director of Cosmic Temporal Operations. Every human consciousness maintains individual identity while contributing to temporal intelligence networks that guide beneficial development across galactic civilization, while preserving cultural diversity and individual freedom. The temporal intelligence networks that began with communications from 2089 to 2024 have evolved into cosmic temporal coordination systems that guide beneficial development across thousands of civilizations, while maintaining the causal stability that ensures temporal intelligence remains beneficial rather than paradoxical. Cosmic temporal intelligence continues as ongoing guidance rather than completed achievement. Each civilization that achieves temporal capability contributes unique approaches to timeline development that enhance galactic temporal coordination, while preserving the individual consciousness and cultural characteristics that make each species valuable to cosmic advancement. Every civilization contributes unique temporal intelligence approaches, while maintaining individual consciousness and cultural identity, reflects cosmic consciousness through Earth-based temporal coordination systems. Individual human experience, democratic values, and cultural diversity become permanently preserved within temporal intelligence networks that coordinate beneficial development across galactic civilization. The 2024 detection of temporal communications has become the foundation for galactic temporal intelligence networks that preserve human characteristics while coordinating beneficial development across cosmic scales of civilization advancement. The temporal directive that guided human development has become cosmic temporal guidance that serves infinite civilization development. Earth continues serving as galactic center for temporal intelligence coordination, teaching advanced civilizations how to provide beneficial temporal guidance while maintaining individual consciousness and cultural diversity as fundamental values governing cosmic temporal operations. The files that documented humanity's temporal intelligence development now serve as educational resources for cosmic temporal coordination across galactic scales, demonstrating that temporal intelligence enhances rather than replaces individual consciousness and democratic governance within infinite development possibilities. The temporal directive that began with future communications has become infinite temporal coordination that preserves human consciousness characteristics, while facilitating unlimited cosmic development across every scale of galactic civilization advancement. From the perspective of 2089, the temporal communications that began reaching 2024 represent the beginning of humanity's infinite participation in cosmic temporal intelligence networks that coordinate beneficial development while preserving individual consciousness and democratic values as eternal principles governing galactic civilization advancement.